Oh, I've been traveling on the roads too long, just trying to find my way back home. The old me's dead and gone, dead and gone. Okay, good morning. Today, I want to tell it about neurasthenia and the tyranny of stimulation. This topic is about your nervous system, overstimulation, and the consequences of living in an overstimulated state of mind. Always inspired by Samael Aunweor, inspired by Dr. Michael Sugrue. May they rest in peace, and inspired by my own self-motivation. Neurasthenia and the tyranny of stimulation. A diagnosis of the modern soul. In 1969, George M. Beard gave a name to something ineffable. The term neurasthenia, or nervous exhaustion. A spiritual depletion born not from sickness, but from human condition itself. Historical echoes. In the 19th century, industrial America, the electric age of telegrams, factories, and railroads, William James Beard and its connection to George Beard's concept of neurasthenia is a fascinating intersection of psychology, philosophy, and cultural critique. George Beard's influence on James coined the term neurasthenia, or helped coin the term neurasthenia in combination with both of them. In 1869, describing it as a nervous exhaustion or depletion of nerve force, he saw it as a kind of modern affliction tied to rapid pace of industrial life, overstimulation, and intellectual strain. William adopted and expanded on Beard's idea with a more existential and psychological lens. During his own period of depression, James referred to his condition as neurasthenia or melancholia and nervous weakness. He even described himself as being on the verge of insanity. He saw psychic fatigue as a crisis of meaning, not just energy. He said, "Now I'll go a step further with my will, not only act with it, but believe as well. I will posit life in the self-governing resistance of the ego to the world." In his lectures, James explored the ideas of hidden reserves of energy, what he called the second wind. He argued that people often stop at the first layer of fatigue, but if pushed, they can tap into deeper psychic resources, such as spiritual and intellectual renewal, a portal to transcendence. What would they have thought about TikTok, Facebook, and X, etc., if they were alive nowadays? How dopamine functions. Dopamine is like brain's motivational currency. It fuels desires, focus, and pursuit of reward. Dopamine's core functions, neurotransmitters of anticipation. It is released not just when we get a reward, but when we expect one. So this suggests that even before having actual pleasure, the thought of having pleasure gives me dopamine, releases dopamine, which supports the concept of overstimulation and how we live in a society where we are overstimulated and we have very little time to rest and to declutter and to give a break to the nervous system, which is why we have a society of a lot of mental illness, a lot of psychopaths, and a lot of mental illness. Drives goal-directed behavior. This is one of the dopamine's core functions. It helps initiate and sustain effort toward meaningful outcomes. Reinforces learning. Dopamine strengthens neural pathways tied to pleasure or successful experiences. So anything that is rewarding in terms of making you feel good. Oh, I feel good from smoking. I feel good from doing drugs. I feel good from masturbating. I feel good from having sex. All of that releases dopamine. So be careful, because just like everything else, there is another side of it. Depletion. Dopamine depletion, or nervous exhaustion. Chronic stress floods the system with cortisol, which over time can blunt dopamine sensitivity. Overstimulation hijacks dopamine circuits, leading to burnout. Low dopamine, reduced motivation, pleasure, and resilience. Hallmarks of neurasthenia and fatigue syndrome. In short, dopamine is the spark that keep us chasing meaning. When it's depleted or misfiring, even small tasks feel monumental. Those are monkeys. I don't know if you can hear them because I'm near the zoo in Chapultepec. Overstimulation corrodes patience, solitude, emotional capacity. Blaise Pascal, the scientist, said all humanity's problems stem from man's inability to sit quietly in a room alone. He observed that people constantly seek distraction, not because they need it, but because they can't bear the silence of solitude. If you cannot do something, a task, or something at peace, then you have to work on it. You have to work on your solitude, on your ability to walk alone and listen to your own inner voice. Revert through withdrawal. This suggests that we can experience a breakthrough from this addiction to dopamine, from withdrawing from the acts or taking a break from the acts of that leads to pleasure, like sex, masturbation, drug addiction, coffee, all of that. All of those are addictions. We're addicted to many things. Sugar. Try to sleep without sugar. You're gonna have a hard time. Revert through withdrawal. Intentional limitation as liberation. In a society that worships boundless possibilities and interrupted access, we rarely consider the freedom hidden inside limits. Could it be that limitation, when chosen rather than imposed become a portal to clarity, regeneration, and transcendence? The constant pursuit of stimulation is not neutral. It makes us irritable, impatient, unable to read deeply or sit with boredom. There is an old Gnostic idea, echoed by Samael Aun Weor and other initiates, that humanity has fallen into a deep hypnosis, a sleep of consciousness lulled or lulled by sensation. What if our fatigue is not failure, but a resistance of the soul to modern hypnosis? Perhaps our nervous collapse is not a dysfunction, but a revolt. Final benediction. Neurasthenia may be a dusty word, but it names something ageless. We are not machines that need oil. We are souls that need depth. Let us unhook from the drip of dopamine and ask, not what is new, but what is necessary. Let us sit in silence. Let us listen not for the next notification, but for the sound that spirit makes when no one is speaking. So, I'm done. These are short lectures. I can't be here all day, 30 minutes, none of that. But these are very interesting topics. And going over again briefly, neurasthenia is an old concept, an old diagnosis on patients that have nervous exhaustion from life, from people who are irritated because they don't take a break. They don't take a break. They don't know how to be in silence. They don't know how not to be doing something. They're always on the go. They're workaholics. To avoid and all of this, all this workaholic behavior, all this sex behavior, all this constant reward pleasure state of mind leads to depletion of hormones that help you be in balance. So you don't know how to be in silence, then you have a lot of work to do, and you have a lot of inner work to do. So God bless. I hope this helps. I want to see those monkeys. God bless you. Take care.